Good morning and happy Saturday. It is Ken. It is May 30th, Saturday morning. It's about 8:17. I'm running a little late today. I got a little slept in, felt real good. But anyway, welcome to Saturday Morning Coffee with Ken, and thank you so much for watching this morning. Again, I'm getting a little bit of a late start today. A little foggy in the head. Went out last night for the first time in probably 2.5 months. Anne-Marie and I did. I'll talk about that later. Before I do that, this is Saturday Morning Coffee with Ken. And you know there's only one rule to Saturday Morning Coffee with Ken, and it is that I don't get to have my very first sip of coffee on Saturday mornings till I push live on Facebook. And I've done that today. And so, as I always say, without further ado, I'm going to have my very first sip of coffee. And good morning, Scott Cooper. And I hope you're at home enjoying your cup of coffee. You've probably been up already and had a few sips. But either way, cheers to us and cheers to the week. Drinking a little bit of vanilla hazelnut this morning. Anne-Marie and I got into it a bit yesterday, a very small bit. We generally drink, and I've said this before, Starbucks Sumatra, rich, dark roast coffee, very heavy flavored, very earthy. Um, and I wanted something different. So Anne-Marie and I went to the store and debated and tried to decide what was best. And fortunately, because I'm with a really good woman, we decided what I wanted was best. So I'm drinking my vanilla hazelnut this morning and very excited about it. And I'm going to have another sip of coffee. How are you doing? Excuse me. I'm outside on my front patio where I've been, I don't know, 3 of the last 4 weeks. It's a gorgeous morning. It's going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous weekend. I think it's like 65 degrees. I don't know if you can tell, the background looks white, but it's all blue sky behind me. And I'm excited about the weekend. I'm excited about a bunch of things. We've got a lot of things going on. A lot has changed over the last few weeks, and I'm glad to see it changing. How are you doing, Scott Cooper? How are you doing? How's your week been? Hello, Lisa. How are you? Thank you all for tuning in. It means a ton to me, as you know. I've been doing this show since I don't know, last July, I think. So we're coming up on a year, which is crazy how time flies, and it's a labor of love sometimes. I always enjoy it once I hit live, but last night after I got home, I was kind of grumpy, and I'd really committed to just sleeping in and not worrying about it and taking the week off. But then every Saturday morning I wake up and lay around and think about it and I think I miss you guys if I don't do it. So, and Emery usually kicks me out of bed and says, get out there and start drinking your coffee and talking on video. So here we are. Oh, it's been a good week. Again, a lot's changed. We've had a lot of work going on. We've done some social things that we hadn't been able to do in a long time. Marie and I went out to our one of our favorite patios, our outdoor spaces in Naperville last night. We went to Potter's, which for those that live in Naperville or don't live in Naperville, it's a Mexican, I guess they serve Mexican food and margaritas and Modelo beer and what have you. And we got there, I don't know, 2:30 or so, and got home at 6:30. So it was a long, long 4 hours. How was it out last night in the real world again? Were people being respectful for one another? Well, Kelly, I guess it really depends what you mean by respectful. I didn't know what to expect walking in. We rode around. I drove my scooter down to downtown Naperville, where I had to park it and leave it, and I still have to go get it because I was being responsible. We drove around, looked at various patios, decided where was our first official drink out since the quarantine. And Potter's has always held a special place for Anne-Marie and I. It's got a big patio. They put music on at nights. Anne-Marie likes margaritas, and I don't know. I like sitting at the bar drinking beer and people watching, and it's a really great place to do it because last night a lot of the places looked sort of sparsely populated. To be honest with you, Potter's was fairly crowded. And when, I forget, somebody just asked if people were being respectful. Uh, I mean, they were respectful, but they weren't. People honestly weren't wearing masks in the at the patio. They weren't. I wouldn't say practicing great social distancing, and it didn't offend me. But I know a lot of people feel strongly about it. I just want to be honest. Uh, we ran into a couple couples that we know, and we sat next to each other at the bar and had drinks and actually shared some food. And honestly, and I'm not trying to offend anybody that's still staying quarantined and at home and staying safe or whatever. But it felt like a normal Friday afternoon at Potter's, and it felt real good. Um, People were out and about having a good time, and we were talking about some things other than coronavirus or quarantining, and it just felt good to be out and get a big gulp of normalcy. And hopefully that continues to develop over the next couple months, and we move in that direction. But again, it felt great being out last night. A couple things I did notice: it's a lot more expensive uh, when you drink out than when you have some beers at home. And the other thing is, we used to do it a lot. We used to go out a lot. I don't have the endurance or the will to go out and sit at a bar like maybe I used to in previous years. Maybe the last couple months spending so much time at home. I certainly don't think it's made me a homebody, but it's made me maybe more accepting of a slower paced life. So we had a good time last night. We got home at like 6:30. It's a kid weekend for us. Anne Marie's kids got back around 7. I pick up my kids this afternoon around 2. Super excited about that because it's going to be a gorgeous day. I mowed my lawn yesterday, so it's looking real good. I don't know if you'll be able to see it behind me, but I mowed it and it's looking real good. I'm hoping, I don't know, the kids get out and we play, I don't know, volleyball or frisbee golf or frisbee or throw the football around, or the girls bring out their gymnastics mat and do tumbles on the yard. And it's just a lot of fun when all 5 kids are together on a nice weathered day like we're going to have this weekend, and I'm excited about it. So anyway, let's have a little more coffee while we're here. Week's been good. We got our first taste of summer hi Christine, one of my original fans. Christine, love you. What was I saying? The week's been good. We got our first taste of summer this year. We turned on the air conditioner. It was in the mid to high 80s on a few days, which is great if you're at the swimming pool. But honestly, I love this weather that we're getting today, where it's like low 70s and the sun is shining and you can be out and about and enjoying. Good morning, Christine. Enjoying the weather and not getting sweaty or too hot, and just kind of enjoying life. So I think it's also, and again, I talked about this for the previous couple of weeks. Kelly, I'm going to mow our lawn today, acceptable time 9 a.m. I'd say 9 a.m.'s fine, Kelly. By the way, if you're watching and want my opinion on anything, I love giving them. Kelly just asked, what's an acceptable time to start mowing a lawn? I'd say 9 a.m.'s okay. I wouldn't wait till 10. Get out there. It gives you an extra hour to enjoy the beautiful yard you're going to make today. Mowing the lawn is one of my favorite activities, and I'll tell you why real quickly. A lot of what I do in real estate is building the business, doing things where you work hard, you maybe host an open house, but you don't sell a house that day. So there's a lot of delay between results and action. And mowing the lawn's the opposite. I go to work, I put about 45 minutes into my yard, and it goes from a overgrown, kind of yucky looking mess to, I'm proud to say, a very well manicured yard, and makes me feel good. Gives me a little pride in where I live and, who I am. So I love doing it. Oh my, I have a big dog. Hello, big dog. Hello. Hello, you big dog. Hold on. Come here, big dog. Come here. Oh, don't worry about it at all. Come here. Ah! No, it's okay. You know what's super funny? Yeah? I shoot a live video every Saturday morning called Saturday Morning Coffee with Ken. And I'm shooting it right now.
Oh my gosh.
So you're almost on it. Come here.
No, I don't think he can be on it.
Well, he's big and wet. Let me show you who's just came.
Gosh,
Look,
so
no problem. No problem. You're guest stars. I don't even know who these people are.
This is Crosby.
Hi, Crosby. What's your name?
I'm Charlene, but I don't want to hear. This is Crosby.
Crosby and Charlene. Hey, look up Saturday Morning Coffee with Ken. My name's Ken Tracy. I do a live show every morning,
that's awesome.
and I'm doing it now, Charlene, and you're on it.
Oh, gosh.
Crosby, a big old yellow lab.
Yeah, Crosby's the
Oh,
star.
a wet
much.
yellow lab. Bye-bye. I have a cold brew from Dunkin' Donuts, Linda's. Of course, I had to do all the trim work. I don't like doing the trim work too much. Congratulations on your closing the other day. Scott, I'd love to have Dunkin' hot coffee myself. That was great. It was hilarious. I heard a woman screaming, and I turn around, and there's this 100-pound yellow lab soaking wet running at me, and apparently it had gotten off the leash. So, I don't know. Anyway, hey, well, thank you, Linda, for congratulating me on the closing we had. It's funny. I look back at the week, and I always evaluate it in terms of how much future businesses have I built. And anytime a realtor has a closing, it's good because we get paid that day and we get a paycheck, and that always feels good, and people always congratulate. But for me, that's not the day to celebrate. That is the day. It feels good. I love when my buyers or sellers feel good about buying or selling a home. But as far as my business goes, closing days are almost anxious for me because it's something that comes out of my accounts receivable. I have no longer a pending transaction, and it's something I got to replace and get out there and knock on doors or host an open house or meet with sellers or buyers and get another closing pending. So we actually had a closing on Thursday and Friday, which is a great couple days. One was a sell, one was a buy. One was in Naperville, one was in Aurora, one was a seller Anne-Marie got last fall that honestly we never thought was going to close. She was working hard before we were back together, and she met with a for sale by owner and did what she did and listed the home, and it just closed on Thursday. And again, she met with them in October, so that's like an 8-month sales cycle if I'm doing the math right. And yesterday we had a nice closing, a really wonderful couple. Orville and Anthea, I don't know if you watch my show. I don't think you do. I'm still reading your comments. Really wonderful couple. Bought this cool home in Aurora with a beautiful view of a lake behind them. And they were so excited. And I saw them at the closing at the title company. And when we first met, Orville was wearing a mask and had his hood down and only could barely see his eyes and might have had a pair of glasses on. So I felt like he was very COVID sensitive. They were wearing masks, but they each gave me a hug yesterday at the closing. And I think it was a combination of our relationship that we developed over the last 6 weeks and their excitement for buying the home. But either way, it felt good that and our barriers had come down enough where they could take and give a hug and share some excitement and share a moment. And, it felt real good for me because, I'm a hugger. I like handshakes and hugs and smiles and pats on the back and words of affirmation. And to share that with a couple that I didn't even know 6 weeks ago, that when we first met, again, we're totally masked and totally hooded up. And, again, just feeling those barriers come down a little bit felt real good for me. So, anyway, great week for us. We've got some pending transactions that we're still working through, and we're always out there, beating the bushes, trying to get some new business. So feels a little bit, we were talking to a couple at the bar, and it feels a little bit like we're, hamsters or gerbils on the treadmill. You get a couple closings, and then they're off the books, and you're hustling and running on the treadmill just as fast as you can to replace those, and that's where we're at. But Emery's off showing some homes in Elmhurst to a friend of ours later today, and we're going to be showing some homes. But good morning, Brian. I have an airplane going over ahead and a train passing by, so I apologize for the noise. I'll take some coffee and enjoy it while we can. But anyway, other than that, I'm not sure if I have a whole heck of a lot else for you. I appreciate you all. Hello, Angela. Thank you so much for liking my video. If you're watching right now and you have a moment, click like on my video because I love it. I'm a very fragile ego. And I really enjoy when people click like or click love or watch or share my videos. It makes me feel real good. So I thank you so much for doing it. And I thank you for watching this week and every other week and sharing a little bit of your Saturday morning with me. It means so much to me, whether it's online or when I run into people on the street. And they say that they watch my show. And I have literally people coming up to me at bars, or not at bars, but just on the street, and saying, "Hey, you're that Coffee with Ken guy." And I always get a real big, hi Cindy, I always get a real big kick out of that, and knowing that I have an audience and that for some reason people like drinking coffee with Ken on Saturday mornings, and it means a ton to me. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all your love and support you've given me and you've given Anne-Marie and myself over the last, our lifetimes. And thank you for watching. I don't want to ramble on much more than I have. I appreciate you sharing, again, part of your Saturday morning with me. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And assuming you live around Naperville like I do, you have some time to enjoy this gorgeous weather we're having, because it's going to be perfect. And I have my girls coming in today, like I mentioned before. I hope you have some time to spend this weekend with family and friends, and maybe get out a little bit more than you have over the last. Thank you, Gary. Yeah, congratulations to the homeowners. But you get out and enjoy the world a little more than you have the last couple months, because if you're living in Illinois, they just loosened up the restrictions, as you know. We do care about you, Ken and Anne-Marie. Look forward to this each week. Good morning. It's a beautiful weekend. Have a great Anne-Marie, the kiddos. Hello. Hello, I will. But anyway, you get to enjoy some of this weather. Get outside, breathe this beautiful air that we're in, the low humidities, the perfect temperatures. Maybe play some games with your kids if you have them. If your parents are still alive, and I haven't said this in a while, but as many of you know, I lost my mom in January of this year. And if your parents are still alive, reach out to them, tell them you love them, because they're not going to be there forever. And if your kids are around, give them a big hug and squeeze them tight and tell them you love them too, because it's going to make you feel good and it's going to make them feel good. And that just kind of feeds on itself and makes the world a little bit better of a place. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. I'm going to have one more sip of coffee before I get my refill. I hope you enjoy the weekend. I hope to touch base with you at some point during the week. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.